Hello, students. Today we are going to learn a, an, the, or maybe you don't have to use article. You know, I'm the teacher Gabi, and we are going to start our topic. Well, first, you need to know what is an article. If you remember, an article is a word that comes before a noun. And what is a noun? Well, here you have three different examples. A noun is boy. The other example with noun is bee. And other is apple. So remember that a noun could be a person or could be an object. And here you have three different articles, the, a, an. So if you check here, an article is a word that comes before the noun. The boy, a bee, an apple. But you need to know that we have two types of articles, definite and indefinite. Well, here you have, with this image, the definite article is the, and the indefinite article, a, an. Remember that a and an has the same meaning, but we are going to check the difference in a minute. Well, I hope that you remember the meaning, and I hope that you remember the difference between a, an. And we are going to start with these articles, a, an. Well, first of all, you need to know that we use a, an before a singular countable noun to talk about something for the first time in a conversation. That is so important. You are talking in singular because remember that the meaning of a, an is only one. Yes? A singular countable noun. And when you are talking for the first time in a conversation, I'm going to show you some examples. Look, there's a cat in the backyard. Do you want an apple? Here you have the cat in the backyard and the apple, right? So it's because you mentioned at first in a conversation. So you are talking with a person and say, look, there's a cat in the backyard. Or the other conversation that when you offer an apple and you say, do you want an apple? So don't forget the first rule. A, an before a singular countable noun, and when you talk about something for the first time in a conversation. But we have more rules. Other important point is that you are going to use these articles, a, an, when we are not talking about a specific thing. So if you are talking about a computer, so any computer is not a specific one. Yes? So example, I don't have a computer. So you are not saying a specific computer. So any computer, a computer. But other important rule is that you use a, an before a profession. Here we have two examples. He is an engineer. And what about this girl? She is a secretary. So you are going to use articles a, an when you are talking about professions. Engineer and secretary. An engineer and secretary. In your case, you are a student, right? Well, we have three rules. When you talk in the first time in the conversation, an, a cat. Yes, an apple. When you are not talking about a specific thing, I don't have a computer. Also, when you are using a profession, before a profession, an engineer, a secretary. But remember this, that is very important. Use a when the next word begins with a consonant sound. V, S, V, F, G, H, K. The sound, not the name of the word, not the name of the letter. B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K. No, the sound. V, S. Or some cases, K, V, in some cases this is silent, but in some cases not, like a horse. Yes? So, in the sound. And here we have some examples. A book, a table, a clock, a university, university. Well, but these start with vowel, not with consonant. But the beginning of university sounds U, university. That is the reason, because you are writing a university. Yes? Doesn't matter if you are starting with vowel, but the sound is with U. And is used when the next word begins with vowel sound. Yes? The vowels, remember, A, E, I, O, U. But the sound is different. Could be A, E, O. That is the sound, right? Okay, and here we have examples. An apple, an elephant, an umbrella. You are starting with vowels. But what about this? An hour. Well, but start with H is not a vowel. It's a consonant. Yes, but in this case, H is silent. An hour, right? A when the word starts with consonant, and when the word starts with vowel. But be careful with the sounds. In this case, the sound is U. And in this case, the sound is silent, hour. Now let's continue with the article the. We use the before noun when it is clear which thing or things, person or people we are talking about. So in this case, you know the thing or people that you are talking about. Here we have an example. The apples of our tree are delicious. Give me the book that is on the table. Well, in this example, you know the tree that you are saying, because it's the tree that maybe you have in your garden. The apples of our tree, right? So you know the apples that you are talking. And this is give me the books that is on the table. Which book? This book is on the table. So you know a specific book, right? So you are going to use the when you know the thing or person that you are talking about. But we have more rules to use the. We also use the when only one of that exists. For example, the moon is the only one that exists. The sun. So look at the moon. Right? Because it's the only one that exists. Other rule is when you are talking about musical instruments. When you say musical instruments, it's important that before you use the article the, right? Okay, look the example. Mickey, look Mickey. Mickey plays the piano. So when you say any instrument, before you need to use the piano, the violin, the guitar, always with musical instruments. Other rule is when you are talking about superlatives, we also use the in superlatives. Here you are comparing three people, so you have to use a superlative form. Henry is the tallest. Don't forget the rules, right? But in some cases, you are not going to use a, an, or the. So, you don't have to use any article, no article. So, we use no article, zero article before plural countable nouns and before uncountable nouns when we are talking about things in general. Cars are expensive. Love is the most important thing. Well, in this case, you are saying about in general, all the cars. So when you talk in general, you don't have to use article, cars, because you are referring to all the cars. In general, cars are expensive. And here you are talking about the feeling. So it's incorrect if you say the love. Because it's in general. Love is the most important thing. Well, I hope that you can understand this video, the topic of this video. But if you have any question, don't forget that you can write in comments your questions and your teacher is going to answer as soon as I can. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.